I'm not asking for miracles, but if these books are great, then I'm happy. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am taking you through the books that I think will get a 5-star rating from me in 2021. So last year I picked 5 books that I think would get a 5-star rating. Not all of them did, but this year I'm upping the ante a little bit and I'm picking 6. That is mainly because I couldn't decide between the last 2. I had a feeling that both of them were 5-star worthy. Quite a lot of the predictions that I'm making are just based on what my friends have enjoyed, books that I have enjoyed from the past written by the same author, and basically what the book community thinks about them. And judging by my reading tastes, these sound like the books that I'm also going to give 5 stars to. Let's take a look at what they are. First on the list is The Single Dad's Handbook by Lindsay James. I have read, I think, every book of Lindsay so far, minus the Silver Bells pantomime. And I've loved every single one of them. This is a book that I have gotten from NetGalley, but I also have a pre-order of the ebook, which is out in April, and the physical copy of it is out in June. This is Lindsay's latest book, and it is about a guy called Evan who has lost his wife Claire to cancer, but in a kind of a P.S. I love you kind of a way. She leaves him a set of letters to help him bring up their daughter Violet, to help him move on from her death, to help him kind of rebuild his life. I really enjoyed P.S. I Love You. I really enjoyed every other one of Lindsay's books that I have read. And I have seen so many people on NetGalley and on Goodreads who have already read this preview copy and who have absolutely loved it. But every single one of them has said to bring tissues. So I'm a little bit apprehensive about it, but I think it's going to get 5 stars. Next on the list is a sequel that I have been waiting for since I finished the first book. So I finished the first book of it in January of 2020, bought the pre-order of the second copy immediately, and then never read it. Majesty by Catherine McGee. Majesty is the second book in the American Royals. I think it's going to be just a duology, but book 1 ended on a massive cliffhanger, and it's going to have huge repercussions for Beatrice, for Connor, for Samantha, possibly for Jefferson, and possibly also for Daphne and Nina. I really enjoyed the first book. I was so hooked on the drama. It's kind of like Gossip Girl meets The Crown. I have seen quite a lot of people who have read this said that it's not as good as the first one, but I loved the first one so much that I genuinely think that this one might live up to it as well. I really need to get reading it. The next book is another one that I really need to get reading, and I just haven't picked it up because I am scared of how I am going to enjoy it. I've read The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and that was an instant 5-star. And it's still a book that stays with me. I actually got it on my shelf for a reread, but I'm hoping On the Come Up will have similar fortunes with me. I am a little bit apprehensive about it just because of how much I loved The Hate You Give. And I'm really hoping that when I do get to On the Come Up, I'm going to also give that 5 stars. It's got absolutely nothing to do with The Hate You Give. It's got a whole different cast of characters. It's got a whole different setting. It's got a whole different story. It's actually about a girl called Brie who wants to follow in her father's footsteps and become a rapper. But I just need to get The Hate You Give out of my head and completely disassociate the book, because I know that once I get into it, I am going to absolutely love this. And I know that everybody that I know who has read it has absolutely loved it. My book club back in Dublin read it and loved it. So I cannot see why I wouldn't either. The final physical book on this list is one from a category that I started really enjoying in 2020 and one that I want to read a lot more of in 2021. And that is like steamy romance, but also romances that have a male perspective. And I haven't read a whole lot of them, but the ones that I've read so far, I've really enjoyed. And that's why I have such high hopes for the Romance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. This is a favourite of Hayley from Hayley in Bookland, and we seem to have quite similar reading tastes. There's a lot of books that she's read that I've really enjoyed, and I have a feeling that because she's really enjoyed this one, I'm very likely going to enjoy it as much as well. So I don't know a whole lot about this one so far, but what I understand is that it is about a guy who the spark has gone out of the bedroom in his marriage. So he and a couple of friends of his start up a romance book club, all as guys, learning how to please their wives, learning how to be good husbands, learning how to be better in bed, for the benefit of their relationships. And that is something that I really love to see. I love to see a guy like grab it by the balls and take ownership of, there's a problem, I'm going to solve it. That's something that I am really, really interested in reading, and I hope, beyond hope, this is going to be a 5-star read. Next on the list is Hamlet by Maggie O'Farrell. This is going to be the second Maggie O'Farrell book that I've read. I read Instructions for a Heatwave in like 2016 or 17, and I really enjoyed it, but I haven't read any of hers since. There's been so much talk about this one. Everybody is talking about Hamlet. It was the Women's Prize for Fiction winner last year, and I know so many people who've loved it. Also, I studied Hamlet for my Leaving Cert back 10 years ago by now. I'm quite familiar with that story, and I know that that's not going to be super relevant to this book, but I also know that there are Shakespearean vibes to it, and that it is about Shakespeare's son who died as a child. I don't think it was in infancy, but I think he was quite young when he passed away. That little kind of connector is something that I think is going to make that a 5-star read for me, as well as seeing that everybody who's read it has loved it so far. The final 5-star prediction for me in 2021 is Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. This was recommended to me by my personal trainer, and it was also read by one of my friends who has the same coach as I do. And both of them have given it stellar reviews. Both of them have said that it's actually sorted out their sleeping pattern. It has made them more aware of the problems that they have when falling asleep, when trying to wake up, when they can't get to sleep at nighttime, or when they wake in the middle of the night. It's kind of sorted that out for them a bit. And that is something that I definitely need to do in 2021. I definitely need to take a look at my sleeping patterns, because they're quite broken, and take a look at how I can put them back together again. So hopefully, when I get around to this book, not only is it going to be a 5-star read, fingers crossed, but it's also going to sort out my life, which I really need this year, let's be honest. These are some of the books that I am hoping are going to get 5 stars from me in 2021. What books do you think are going to get 5 stars from you? Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.